Have you ever wondered what Ridley Scott did after Blade Runner and Alien? Well, you're about to find out, and you can see why no one has probably ever heard of this movie. Hey, thank you for looking after my place while I was away at Boomtown. I really appreciate that, mate. Yeah, I know I miss you too. Okay. Just one little thing though. What are the stains on my side of the bed? Like, what are those? Because I can't figure it out. Is it coffee? Is it urine? You know what I mean? Like, it's such an odd colour. It's ground up grapes. What you doing eating grapes in my bed for, man? Said you could sleep on the sofa, not my bed. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you can pay for a new mattress then, can't you? Oh, hello there. Ooh, it's your boy, Ray Fandango. Hello all and welcome to Ray Fandango Talks Movies. I'm your host, Ray Fandango, and as always, we're going to be talking movies. If you love movies, well, you've come to the right place, folks, because me, well, I love the movies. I love your old ones. I love your new ones. I love your bad ones. I love your weird, horrible fantasy ones where Tom Cruise is a little forest boy and everyone's got prosthetics on. That's right, I don't know if anyone knows, but I was away last week, so I apologise for that. I went away to Boomtown, and what can I say? I boomed to town, and Boomtown boomed me back. Okay, so I just had a little bit of a rest, but I'm back now, baby, with a vengeance, and I've got a doozy for you this time. It's one that's been on my radar for quite a while, simply because of the fact of Tim Curry being like some sort of demon devil prosthetic guy. Apparently it took him 14 hours to get into this thing, and you can kind of see why. It's very elaborate and over the top, and he's very rarely in the movie, if I'm honest, but hey, we move, and it was interesting to see. Well, let's stop dilly-dallying, let's get into it, folks. Okay, so sit back, relax, kick your feet up, I'll put the kettle on, and I'll warm us up a nice slice of fun pie. Alright folks, so this week we are looking at the 1985 fantasy adventure Legend. Tom Cruise, Tim Curry and Mia Sara. Madness. It's also directed by Ridley Scott, obviously director of Alien and Blade Runner. And this one, I thought he'd done it before he'd done these films, if I'm honest, but apparently not. The runtime is 1 hour and 29 minutes. The tomato meter is a 33%, so the critics are agreeing this isn't probably his best work. The popcorn meter is a 73%, so a lot of people out there maybe got a little nostalgia vibe for this thing. Letterboxd is a 3.2, so again, quite down the middle there. Apparently, mixed reviews on this bad boy. The movie starts off with a little glimpse of Tim Curry as the Darkness. That's what his character's called, and he's sort of, like I say, is this devil character. And you kind of see him, and he's talking about wanting a unicorn horn, I assume. I don't really know what about. There's a lot of this movie which I didn't really understand what was going on. I can't tell if it's because it wasn't the director's cut or maybe because there wasn't subtitles. I don't really know, but I really try my best to try and gather it, and I'm trying my best to relay that information to you. Then we have the princess sort of galloping around this forest, and it's the windiest forest you've ever seen in your life. Everything is just blowing all the time. I don't understand why or how. Surely the trees should be blocking the wind, but apparently not. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it's a fantasy film, so this is just the windy woods. That's what I'm going to call it. She's running around and she meets up with her mono-browed forest boy, aka Tom Cruise, who's essentially kind of like a Mowgli, I'm guessing, but from, Lord of the Rings. I'm going to go with that. And then what follows is some really long, drawn-out things where they're sort of running around, galloping, and we see a unicorn. He shows them the unicorn. They're quite sacred beasts. And she decides, hey, I'm just going to go up and touch one. And he's like, yo, why are you doing that for? I didn't say you could do that. I mean, a lot of princess privileges here, not going to lie. But that was a no-go. They kick off and run away. And then we've got the little goblin guys who turn up, and they cut off this horn. And basically an ice age occurs. There's a bit where the princess kind of goes, oh, this ring is nothing. If anyone finds this ring, then they can marry me. Throws it into the lake. Tom Cruise dives into that lake to try and find the ring, because obviously he wants to marry her. And then everything freezes over. So as he's trying to swim up, it's all frozen. He sort of like smashes through the ice, and he's like, where's Lily? Where are you? And she's done a runner. She's just like freaked out and just like gone for a little wander in the woods for some reason. But it's all because these goblins have cut off the horn of this unicorn. And then we cut to Tom Cruise just sort of having a little nap by a fire, a very cold looking nap by a fire. And he's woken up by a little boy who smokes too much cigarettes and is not affected by the cold, apparently, because he's just sort of in foliage for most of the film. In fact, all of the film. And he's got some little gnomey looking friends who've got some really cool prosthetics, to be fair. But yeah, then Tom Cruise beats him in a riddle, I think, and then they sort of go, well, let's go and save the day and go get this unicorn horn and go get my princess lady. So they team up and away they go. Jack, aka Tom Cruise, is their champion, I guess, who's going to defeat the darkness. And so they go into a sort of dungeon and they find chainmail that's all sort of golden and shimmery. And that's the first time that we see this little Tinkerbell sort of character who's a fairy thing just pop out of nowhere, and there she is looking creepy as hell. We then see Tom Cruise and his band of little gnomes and the little boy in the foliage, and they cross a swamp, and on this swamp there's sort of like a weird looking witch swamp lady that comes out of nowhere and just sort of like, hey, I'm gonna eat you, boy. And it's pretty freaky, actually. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a little child watching this, I probably would have had nightmares for a very long time. But Jack just swipes off his head with one clean blow, and that's the end of that. So yeah, it might have been scary to look at, but very easily defeated. The gang then fall down a pit and end up in a prison with these big guys who are maybe going to eat them, I think, and they don't know how to get out, but their only way to get out is by asking the little Tinkerbell fairy to sort of float away and get a key. But she won't do it until she gets a kiss from old Tommy Cruise, and it's very creepy because she just has this stare on her face. She's like, give us a little kiss, and then she turns into the princess and she's trying to trick him, I guess, and he just sort of goes no, and then she gets a bit hissy and flies away. But she eventually comes to her senses because I think she's like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be forcing guys to kiss me for favors. Fast forward a little bit, and then we've got the princess has sort of made her way into the chamber where Tim Curry is, and we see him in all his glory. And you got to admit, it does look really cool. The prosthetics that obviously took him so long to put on, he's got these giant horns and these grotesque grooves on his face, and yeah, his chin does look a bit like a ball sack, but if we ignore that, the rest of it is really cool. And obviously it's Tim Curry, so he sounds delectable. He's just this devil man, basically saying to this princess, hey, I want to make you my bride, okay? You're so innocent and everything, and then we'd work so well together. And she goes, only on one condition: if I get to kill the last unicorn myself. And he's like, all right. I mean, that sounds a bit more like Sean Connery, but you get the deal. So she's about to kill this unicorn. She's about to give it a stab, and then Tom Cruise is there with an arrow, and he's like, oh no. And they're like, go and kill her. She's going to kill the unicorn. We can't let that happen. He's like, no, I trust her. And he should have bloody trusted her, as he did, because she cuts off the chains for this unicorn, and away the unicorn goes. And then it's a duel between the darkness and Jack. And Jack in darkness sort of, have a little fight. There's a little bit of kicking, a little bit of sword swinging. And yeah, I mean, it's fun to look at. But I mean, ultimately, that devil was massive and should have just been able to just cut him in half. But hey, that wouldn't have been a good film then, would it? And Jack has this ingenious idea of getting the sunlight to like sort of ping off all these dinner plates, and then eventually they open the door and it goes blast straight onto the darkness, and he gets sort of blasted away into space. Like there's a space inside this chamber that he's in, and he gets blasted away and he becomes stars. So that's the end of him, I guess. And then it all ends. We've got the princess sort of in a coma because she was sort of like evil for a little bit, and he puts the ring on her, gives a little cutie, and she wakes up, and then they're all happy and smiling. Away they go into the sunset, and the end. So it's nice, it's fun, it's visually, it's cool to look at. There's a lot of cool set pieces, and like I said, the prosthetics are really cool, but I spent a lot of the film just sort of going, what's going on? Why is he doing that? And why is he doing that? And why are they doing that now? And did he just say that, And so I don't know if the director's cut would be any better. But yeah, I mean, I spoke to a friend who, when this came out, was alive then, and she was like, oh, it's great. And I just don't know. I don't know if it's just not gone with the times, or if it's really is just bad and maybe they were just a bit young. I'm not too sure, but I'm just so confused that Ridley Scott had a career after this. But I guess if you make Alien and Blade Runner, you are allowed to make a few stinkers, if I'm honest. So there we have it, folks. What did you think of Legend? Have you seen it? Did you like the prosthetics? Did you think that Tim Curry was really weird and creepy for wanting some innocent young bride? Did you understand what was going on? Did you like the little nymph boy that didn't seem to be affected by cold, but it had a really weird raspy voice? I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So please comment, like, share. Tell me what you thought about it, or I may just get a fairy to force herself upon you. I know some of you might like that, to be fair. And as always, I want to bring you in for a little bit of Ray Fandango's food for thought. This one is almost like a wordplay, if anything, but I think it makes a valid point. Now, why is bacon called bacon and cookies are called cookies when you cook bacon and you bake cookies? It's food for thought, isn't it? It's a thinker, it's a head scratcher. What's going on there? Why are cookies not called bakies? And why is bacon not called cookin'? Cookin'? Cockon? Cockon? Cookin'? Yeah. Maybe I might start calling that now from now on. Yo, give me some cookin' and egg, please. Yeah, I hate it already. What about bakies? You got any bakies, baby? I'll have a little bakey. Sounds like I'm getting high, which is ironically what I would eat if I was high. So, yeah, there's one for you guys. Try and sleep tonight. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you, and I wish to see you next time. So go, shoo, get out there, right? Get on out there, enjoy the last bit of summer before it starts to get freezing and everyone gets miserable again. I can't wait. And I don't know if you noticed, but my light stopped working. It's unfortunate that, but a bit of technical difficulties with that. Hopefully I can get it up and running again for next one. If not, it's just going to sort of live like that, I guess. It's just like a sad little remnants. But the message still stands. Stay weird. Yeah, I know there wasn't just grapes in there, was it? I knew it. What else is in there? Biscuits, yep, okay. Bread roll, yep, gotcha. Cucumber, cool. Was this the same meal? What is this? Like the fucking poor man's salad or something? No. There's not a single meal you didn't eat out of that bed. That explains a lot, to be fair. You get me a new mattress. You just are, okay? I don't care if you can't afford it. You're going to save up your pennies and I'm getting a new mattress.